Hey everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of Baboom. This is not a Let's Play or anything like that, but I am playing while I'm chatting. Between the breaks that I get with school and pretty much everything in real life, that's just the way it is, you know. Alright, first things first, E3, right? I know it's a little late, but E3 is an advertisement system. It is not. It is there to get you hype about something. That is it. And it is your job as a proper consumer to not be hypnotized by this hype. If you're hypnotized by the hype, you have failed, right? Which is why I think, and I know I'm going to get feedback for this, we need another No Man's Sky situation. We need another eye-opener, right? We need another situation and a game launch that completely lets down millions upon millions of people. That way they understand that developers can lie about the products. That developers can outright tell them whatever they want to hear and they will buy it, right? That's exactly what happened. People expected there to be things like PvP. People expected there to be proper co-op. People expected what they were showing in their screenshots and their videos, and that was not the case, was it? So I think another No Man's Sky situation would just be absolutely fantastic. On a related note, if none of you paid attention to my virtual reality video that I made months upon months ago about the price of it and the effectiveness of it and everything else, well, now the Oculus Rift is $400. So that's a deal that's happening right now, and that's reasonable. That's actually a very reasonable price. Am I going to get it? No, not until something with a little bit more, I guess, playability is out. You can't tell me the Oculus is good just because of one or two games. Like, I need something that's really going to raise the bar with it and to really justify $400. Because that $400 could go towards a console if I want to, play something like Yakuza and another Yakuza. I kid, but you could really honestly use $400 for a lot of other stuff. And to say $400 is justified still, I mean, it's a way better price than what it was before. But now you need some games. Now you need something other than like one title for it to really matter. Again, virtual reality. The key word is not virtual. The key word is reality. You're trying to design something that will trick the player's brain into mistaking it for reality. That is your job as a developer when it comes to virtual reality. You're supposed to be making something that disconnects them from what reality really is, so they mistake it, the virtual reality, for real reality. So, do your best, devs, please. I want to see some good shit. I want to see some MMO shit. I want eventually to be in the world, right? Or as the anime Dot Hack called it, the game, right? The world. That's simply what it was called in that anime. Their virtual reality, hit game was called just the world. Man, not a whole lot of other news. There was a lot of feedback with Donkey, video game Donkey. If you don't know who he is, he's a guy on YouTube with a few million subscribers. Lots of people tend to look at his videos not just for comical humor, but because his opinion on things tend to be very straightforward. Even though he jokes a lot, he's very straightforward with how he presents it. Like, you can tell he thinks something is a piece of shit based on how much satire he's pumping into it. For instance, one time back when Two Brothers came out from Microsoft, they were pretty much paying off YouTubers to try and make it sound like a great game. And he decided to give them the middle finger and make a game or make a video about two brothers completely trashing how bad it is. And Microsoft hated him for it. So there was that. Like that already tells me that there's a part of this guy that I feel like I can trust, because he's not just accepting money under the table for stupid crap. And what happened was he came out with a video that was completely trashing the rating system that's been known for IGN and GameSpot and everything. And the only people that are really retaliating about this are the people that are making money from this terrible broken industry, right? Yeah, sure, it's $1 billion industry, but you know, you want a piece of the pie, but there's always a way of getting it. You don't have to resort to these low standards and then try and even tell me that you're a journalist. You're disgusting piece of trash if you take money to review something and then try and say you know, you still have integrity. You're a piece of shit. Never ever. I'm not gonna say who, but there was one point on my channel where someone tried to send me a message and they wanted to cut a deal, and I pretty much ignored them. I didn't even want to give them the recognition of letting them know I knew that their letter even existed, because I don't do shit like that. If only more consumers were like this, right? If only more consumers realized that what they are doing has more power than what the industry is doing. I mean, sure, you hear the term voting with your wallet a lot and stuff like that. That is the case, though. If you don't like something about that product, don't bend the knee and buy the product. Back when I worked for GameStop, you know how many people were like, man, they're coming out with another Call of Duty, and these are the Call of Duty fanboys. These are the guys that come to the midnight launches and stuff. They're saying, man, another Call of Duty, well, I guess I'm gonna have to get it. Don't do that to yourself. Can't you, like, demand a little bit more from the people who are making this shit for you? Can't you at least say, no, I'm not gonna buy it this time, I'm gonna try and play something else? But instead you buy it. You buy it every fucking year because you don't really know what you're doing. You're just, oh, well, that's the only game that I like. Might as well. You don't try anything else. Oh, God. I know I'm coming off as bitching. But there's a lot to vent about in this hobby, because for years it has been absolutely abused. And I'm sick of it. I love video games, man. I love picking up a controller or just even getting on Skype or Discord and talking with my friends and co-oping and doing all these different adventures and killing thousands of guys at, you know, within like 5 minutes. I love this kind of stuff. And to know that this industry has knowingly abused every possible aspect of it that they can for the sake of a dime eats me up inside. This medium has so much potential. It has so much to offer, not just on entertainment, but for everything else, educational, Jesus, medical even. I mean, could you imagine an actual medical game? And no, I'm not talking trauma center. Could you imagine an actual medical game where even if you're using like a VR headset or something like that, that you're trying to learn about the human body, doing surgery and things like that? There are applications for video games that just aren't being touched or even being looked at, because that's not where the money is, right? It's a little too experimental. You can't think outside the box too much, or else it'll just fail outright. Come on. Give me a break. I kind of I kind of feel like we have just been stagnating for a while in this industry, and it needs to stop. The stagnation needs to stop. You got to stir the pot a little bit, because this is not good. It's great that the Oculus is now going to be $400. Primo stuff, man. Good price. But other than the people who just want to buy it just for the initial hype and then not use it anymore, you're not doing us any favors, right? For instance, I know a few people that actually paid for, I think it was the Vive. All right, that's fine. They bought the Vive, and within the first few weeks, they got tired of it. They don't use it anymore. There's nothing really to express other than they used up, I guess, all of the good games on it. And some more stuff is coming out. I mean, I like the way that the newest Resident Evil utilizes VR. It's just an optional thing. All right, that's cool. That's fine. Stuff like that's fine. That's kind of easing people into the idea about VR. And it's strange to me that Microsoft originally said that the Scorpio or the Xbox One X was going to be focused on VR, and well, there's no VR to be had. They didn't really even mention it, to be honest, during that entire E3. They talked about Minecraft in 4K for how long in total? Now, one of the good things that I did notice, which is something everyone needs to get on boat for, is the fact that the Minecraft servers are now going to be merged, which means that PlayStation people can play with Xbox people, and Xbox people can play with PC people, and so on and so forth. Everyone can play in just this one massive community, despite what system they own, which is fucking awesome. Which is something people have been begging for ages now. Not just for Minecraft, but I mean just for systems in general. But it's strange knowing that it's Minecraft that decided to make that step. Like, why has no one else made this step? Why is it so hard for Sony and Microsoft to at least get along for one thing and say, hey, people can still pay for our services, but we can still have joint servers and they can play against each other, right? Could we finally, like, could it put an end to console wars just a little bit? At least stop the bitching just a little bit? As long as people are on a console playing against each other in some kind of co-op, why do people feel like they need to buy 2 fucking consoles if all of these consoles pretty much play all the same games other than a few fucking exclusives, right? If the consoles themselves would play against other consoles, there's your $400 right there. Can you imagine buying one console and it doesn't matter which one it is, and other than you having your own fanboyism towards exclusives, you can still play with all of your friends if they own something different. It'd be fucking awesome, and people have talked about this for years. And why is it Minecraft that's fucking taking the step here? Why are the devs for actual AAA people not taking these steps? Why is it that it took Mojang, a company that isn't even what it used to be anymore, I don't get it. It's not wrapping in, it's not fixing, it's not in my head. I don't get it. I want everyone to be happy when it comes to video games. I swear to God, I really do. I swear to God, but there's just these things, these assholes. You have these people wearing suits coming up onto the stage telling you how excited they are to bring your product. They're not excited for their fucking product. They're wearing a suit with a shirt underneath, trying to pretend to be all business casual, like they're really down-to-earth gamers and they really understand your wants and needs. They don't understand jack shit. The most that they've ever paid attention to was a bunch of people in a testing room asking them to fill out a piece of paper for their opinions on things. That's it. If they had to actually ask anyone out on the street, if they actually had to get a general consensus towards what people wanted, they would not be happy, because that would mean that they actually have to put more money towards investing and development, and they hate that shit. They hate investing in money. They hate investing shit tons of money into stuff if they don't know for certain that it's going to get some type of money back. They're not willing to take that one little leap, like connecting servers together. Microsoft and Sony stop slapping each other on the ass like, tee-hee, mine's better this time, and tee-hee, no, mine's better this time. Just stop and just work together and just make the gamers happy for a change. Fuck's sake. Speaking of devs, right? And this is going to get very mixed opinions, right? The GDC of 2017 with Randy Pitchford talking about how they're using Unreal 4 for Borderlands, right? Now, Randy Pitchford, in case you didn't know, is a very well-known, I'm going to say, social justice warrior. And no, my channel's not going to be aimed towards ragging on anything like that. But let's just say that he may have let his ideals, his political and personal ideals, delve into his game development a little too much. And it has not created a very good reputation for him. Even though he helped with Borderlands and a few other things. I mean, Aliens Colonial Marines was garbage, and Duke Nukem Forever was kind of garbage. You know, Borderlands was still around, right? But in a development process, when you have to make characters and story and stuff like that, and art, you don't put your personal ideals into it as a forceful thing, right? You don't put it in there to try and force something down the player's throat. When you have to force something down a player's throat, you failed, right? As far as like an artistic sense, you have failed. What artist has ever had to force something down someone's throat for them to understand what they're trying to convey, right? With the Thinker, classic statue, you know, what is he thinking about? Like, is this supposed to represent man's struggle with himself? You know, it does its own job by just simply existing without forcing you to understand, like, this is what this art piece is about. And Randy Pitchford kind of lost that. But when it came to the Game Developer Conference, he's up there on stage, and for 11 and a half minutes, I paid attention to this man and liked everything I was hearing. He nonstop talked about the art direction for how they're working on shading and textures and lighting, and how they were planning on using the engine, hopefully, for Borderlands 3. How they were working on bump mapping and everything. Like, he went over how game development and what they were working on, you know, how it all came together for Borderlands 3 potentially. And I love that. I love the fact that a developer was standing up on stage, not treating me like a fucking wallet. I love the fact that he was up there on stage talking about where they wanted to improve their engine, where they felt like they were going wrong and could have done better. Why can't we have that at E3, at least just for a few minutes, right? It feels like E3 now is this massive circle jerk of just movie trailers, and I don't want that. I don't want nothing but movie trailers. I don't want that 15 minutes before a movie starts to see a bunch of teaser trailers and release dates. I don't just want that. That's just a small piece of the pie. I want a dev to stand up there on stage and say, hey, look, we realized that with our last title, everything wasn't exactly, how we wanted it to be, and we wanted to improve on this formula. Okay, that's fine. And it's strange that I'm defending them on this, but it almost sounded like the Battlefront 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2 devs were doing it. Because they at least started off like that. They showed a bunch of tweets and polls and everything like that, and they're like, guys, we heard your feedback and we listened. That's at least you're lying to me. At least you're lying to me with a lie that I want to hear. Because what you guys showed wasn't exactly good. Battlefront 2 does not look good. But at least you started off strong. At least you started off saying, we didn't do so well, but we want to do better. And that's start. Admitting you have a problem is a start, right? So I want devs to be up on stage and at least for 2 minutes. 2 minutes, 120 seconds to stand there and say, we didn't do good on our title, and this is where we're going to improve it. This is what we're going to change. Don't just say, here's the new trailer, it's going to be in 4K, it's going to be amazing, I'm super excited to show it to you. I don't care how you're fake excited just because you want to get us hyped up for fucking money. I can't be talking to a brick wall here, right? There's got to be some people out there that understand where I'm coming from, right? Go rewatch E3. Go rewatch it. Approach everything you see with skepticism. Approach everything with skepticism. Like, for instance, Spider-Man, right? Oh, well, it's got QTEs and all this other kind of stuff in it. Well, yeah, all right. QTEs have been around for a while now. But the QTEs were kind of only happening for the cinematic parts. They weren't happening for the fighting parts. So that gives me a little bit of a hopeful skepticism. That makes me say that there might be some kind of gameplay back in these Spider-Man games, right? I just hope it's not going to be like Batman. And god damn, they kind of screwed up Batman with that constant counter system. Always approach something with skepticism. Be a smart shopper. Don't buy something simply because you feel like you should. Don't buy it because it's not meeting your expectations. You can, as a consumer, in a way, demand more from a developer. If you were to buy a product off a shelf right now, anything, a box of cereal, and you were to message them and say something was wrong with your product, they would immediately respond and say, we're sorry, we want to do something and fix it. We want you to be happy. We want you to be happy with our product. Am I right or wrong? You buy a soda and something's wrong with the soda. You report it to them. And what happens? Please, give us the UPC code so we know where it came from and we want to fix this. You buy a razor or a toothbrush, for fuck's sake. You buy disposable toothbrushes and they're going to help you. They're gonna want you to be happy with their product. But for some reason, us as consumers in this video game industry have let them bend us over and fuck us for years. Simply because we're gonna feel like we're entitled to things. We're not entitled to things. We just have hard-earned money and we don't want to waste it. We want to make sure that what we're buying is worth our hard-earned money. We want to make sure that what we're buying is going to give us time and entertainment and fun. Jesus, you go to a movie theater now and they're willing to charge you $15 just to watch the fucking thing for one person. And you don't even know if it's going to be good because there's shit tons of reviewers out there that are now paid for to say exactly what you want to hear. It has been so abused. This system has been so massively abused, and the second that someone with some balls and some clout points it out, people just explode on them. Tell them that they're a piece of shit, or they're stupid, or they just don't understand how the system works. My ass. I don't understand how it works? Sure, man. I guess that's why every single time that I have to argue about this, I rarely ever get a decent rebuttal. Because it all just makes sense. I'm not saying that I'm smarter than tons of people. I'm not saying that I have this all figured out. But I'm seeing a pattern here, and I want other people to recognize this pattern. We cannot let this shit continue. We should be asking for better products. We should be asking for them to listen to us for a change, instead of just being bent over.